Hey guys, Julie here, and I figured it was time for an updated room tour. So I'm gonna take you around my room slash art space slash where I spend like 90% of my non-working time. I really like the idea of creating an individualized space, so that's what I did here. I put a lot of love into my room because I am hella introverted, so I like to spend a lot of time here. We could start over in this corner, and because this is an art channel, I'm gonna focus more on the art, but I'll show you around a little bit just so you can get a sense of my personality. And I like to think that I captured it pretty well. So this here is the darkest corner of my room. I actually used some leftover wood from my dad's garage and I stained these, and I got these guys here from IKEA. I actually made these myself with the help of my dad. He helped me install them so they were nice and straight. So up there is just storage, things that I don't really use very often. I'll probably end up donating a lot of what's in those bins. Here as well, just a bunch of random stuff. I have all my books here, and a friend actually got me this, and I'll show you what's inside. It's super nerdy, which is really sweet. One of my old coworkers. She got me some ladybug earrings. It's so cute. And because I'm like a teenager in a 25-year-old body, I bought this for myself on Amazon. So she just lives in there. I used to have her up on display, but at one point I was like, girl, time to get serious. You're an adult. On this shelf here, I have all of my language learning books, and I have them on display, and every time I look at them, I feel super guilty because I haven't been practicing my languages. This textbook here is for the online Italian class that I'm taking right now. And down here, it's just a bunch of little travel knickknacks, and I know it's super typical and a little tacky, but you know, I like them. And then over here, I just have my dried flowers, and I love these flowers. I feel like it adds a really nice touch to this bare corner here. It's very rare that I get flowers from people, but when I do, I always dry them and I pop them in these jars, and I think they look wonderful. And this here I actually made myself in a ceramic class, and I broke off a bit in the kiln, but yeah, I think she looks okay. The glaze I used was supposed to be gold, but it ended up like this metallic gray color, so not quite sure what happened there, but it's fine. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna keep her here for. I might just pop her in our garden. This, super messy, I did not organize this, but it's where I keep all of my jewelry. Like, I don't know if you consider something like this jewelry, but I do. So yeah, I have a lot of beaded items, my sunglasses, things like that. These drawers, I just keep a bunch of random stuff. Only this drawer is art related. This is where I keep my Bic alcohol markers along with my Spectrum Noir markers, the Artist Loft alcohol markers from Michaels, and just a couple palettes, like this Prang palette here. Oh wait, no, that's not the Prang one. This one, here's the Prang one. Yeah, so just a few palettes here. I don't really open this drawer very often, but other than that, this is just filled with a bunch of other stuff. And I have my TV here. My cousin actually lived with us for, I don't remember, I think it was 2 years, and he left his TV behind, so I took it, and I figured down here was the perfect spot because it wasn't really taking up much space, and it's tucked away in the corner. Oh, and I have to introduce you to my stuffies. I used to have a lot more, but again, I figured it was time to grow up. But these guys, like, you know, I like to leave them here. I think they're so cute. So these pillowcases I actually ordered from AliExpress. And then these ones here are from IKEA, including this one. So I'll just zoom out so you have a better idea of what it looks like in this corner here. Those lights I got from IKEA, and I like them because you actually plug them in. Most fairy lights are battery powered, so I really wanted something that would work with an outlet. The only thing is, these bulbs are not changeable. So whenever this dies, I don't know how long it's gonna last, I won't be able to replace the lights. Now over here into this corner, I don't have too much here. I have some paintings that are not 100% finished. I want to say they're like 80% finished, but I don't know if I'll ever finish them. This one here I really like. I just pulled this off of Google, so it's probably copyrighted, but I'm not selling it or anything. It's just in my room, so I figured it would be fine. This one here, the reference photo, I think I got it from Unsplash. So this one here is free for use, but again, it's just in my room. Don't really love this one. I like this one, but I feel like my values are off. So if you zoom out, you can't really tell what's happening there. So that's something I have to improve on. Like with these two, you can tell. This one is also a little bit better, but if you zoom in, it still needs a lot of finessing, like especially this building back here. So I just have my 4 travel themed little canvases. These little fish, they're hand painted. They're from Brazil, and these are really common in Brazil. This here is also from Brazil, and I just think it's super cute. I've had this for years, like over a decade. And yeah, it's just my cute little bird. And the few times that our lovebirds came into my room, I know one of them hopped on here, so it was kind of cute to see both of them together. This ivy I got in a pack from Amazon for like 16 Canadian dollars. And I also got these fairy lights from Amazon, and I just feel like it adds a really nice touch to my room. Not gonna lie, having the ivy there really makes me feel like I'm a 16-year-old, but you know what? I like it, so I'm just gonna roll with it. This here is my pride and joy. This is my desk, which was also hand stained. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I love this desk. I made it so it was a perfect size. I used the legs from my last desk, which was just a desk from Target, and it ended like right here, something like that. So I added about almost 2 feet, maybe 1.5 feet, because I like to spread out. I like a lot of space. So yeah, so I really love my desk. I think the staining, I mean, it's not perfect, and you could see the little nicks just because this was an old piece of wood kicking around, but you know, I feel like I gave it some new life, and I love this desk. This clock here, I think it's from the 70s. It was actually found in this home when we bought it. So yeah, I thought it looked kind of funky, so I decided to keep it, and I do use it as an alarm every day. And I used to have it right next to my bed, but I wanted to force myself to get up. So I moved it over here, and it works pretty well. This I got from Winners, and as you can see, it's been sitting without a photo for like, I don't know, 3 months. So I really got to get on that. This bulletin board was from IKEA, and it was the perfect size, and I really like the color. I like that it was like a darker brown. So this is essentially my weekly schedule. I have Monday to Sunday, and I don't follow this at all. I forget that it exists. I just do whatever I want on a daily basis, basically, outside of work at least. So I need to either start following this or repurpose it, because there's no point for it to be here. Something I've been doing is slapping my most recent art on my wall, even if I don't love it. Like, I'm not really a fan of this one here, but you know, I kind of like the look of it. I bought a bunch of picture frames, and I keep them down here. This corner's kind of a mess. I bought a bunch of picture frames that are sitting empty, and I was gonna create art for them. Honestly, like, I kind of just like how messy it looks just slapping pieces of my scrapbook onto my wall. I kind of like that. So I don't know if I'll even end up using those picture frames. These pieces here I got from Society 6. And I think it looks amazing in that frame. I'm like a mug hoarder. I have my X-Men mug. I have my Legend of Korra mug. I love this mug. I got it from the Fan Expo. And I have my Spider-Gwen mug. I also have Big Hero 6 right here. And this mug my sister got me, and I love it, so that's why this one's on my desk. You should have seen my room like 5 years ago. I was very outwardly nerdy, whereas in recent years, I've tried to tone it down a bit. Also, nerd culture is no longer the sole thing that I focus on. I'm also, of course, interested in art. So as I became more and more interested in art in general, not just creating fan art, but art as a whole, obviously my interests have shifted, but there's still that nerdy side of me, so. And apparently it's shown through my mugs. So I just keep those there, and each mug has like a different purpose, like writing utensils versus pens versus like my highlighters. This here is my Legend of Korra lunchbox. This was actually gifted to me, and I love this lunchbox. It's so cute. I have my master markers in the back there. You can barely see them. I barely touch them, so that's why they're tucked away in the corner there. In my little messy corner, I have some canvases and picture frames. That's basically it. This is my massive frame from Michaels, and I was actually gonna put my Parisian paint by numbers little canvas thing in this picture frame and put it up on my wall. That way it would go with the whole travel theme. But as you can see, that didn't quite happen. And why is that? It's because I didn't like how the art turned out. I was convinced it would turn out like it did in the advertised photo, but of course it was a lot less detailed. Some of the colors were off, and I tried to save it, but I didn't do a very good job. So yeah. And this here was supposed to be for my Venice paint by number set, which I haven't started yet. That one looks a little bit more promising, so I might just do one of them instead of both. Okay, so I'll zoom out so that you can get a whole idea of what this looks like. And then when you turn this corner here, you get my art space. I absolutely love this. A friend gave it to me, and it's a floating bookshelf, and you can see Superwoman's holding it up, or whoever this is. These are not books that I'm currently reading. They're just books that inspire me in one way or another, or books that make me happy to be around. So I have Travels Through the French Riviera, which is sort of like a travel art memoir. Not really a memoir, just a retelling of Virginia Johnson's travels through the French Riviera. This one here is by a woman named Kamin, Mohammadi. And I haven't finished it yet, but it is an incredible book. It's really good. It's about this woman who decided to just, screw it all and go to Italy, and her life completely changed by adopting the Italian mindset when it comes to happiness. And I don't know, it's a lot to get into, but really good book, very well written. There's Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which I think was a bestseller at one point, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. The next book I have here is The Bonjour Effect, The Secret Codes of French Conversation Revealed. It's not necessarily a history book, but it just talks about the nuances of the French language, and it's pretty humorous. And this one here is a Carmen Sandiego novel, which I haven't read yet. It makes me happy, so I kept it there. Oh, I have to show you guys these mugs here because they are fabulous. More mugs, of course. I think I showed you like 10 so far. These two were actually created by a potter at the place I work at, and they are stunning. He actually makes this clay himself and fires it and glazes it, and I just think they're so beautiful. Like, there's something about them that just have so much character. And they're super rough too, as you can see, so I can't even imagine working with this clay on the wheel. Like, wouldn't that hurt? I don't know. But yeah, they're just stunning. This is sort of one of his trademark looks, but he has many of them. This guy I made out of just air dry clay. I forgot what he's called, but he's that guy from Gravity Falls. I was supposed to paint this, but didn't end up doing that. Though I kind of like it bare. I think it looks pretty cool. My Google clock, which is fantastic. You just say, okay Google, set an alarm for tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Done. Your alarm's set for tomorrow
There
at
you
6
go.
a.m.
It is amazing. I love that. Oh, and if you're wondering why I have tinfoil up here, I moved my paints so that they could dry over here. So these are my handmade watercolors. I created them in my last video, some of them. Some others I made off camera. So if you're interested in that, then I'll link it down below. And this is actually the table that I film on. I do have, and I kept it away because I was kind of tired of looking at it. I do have this little placemat, sort of. It's a makeshift placemat that I use to film. So I usually put that down here, and I have my 2 IKEA lamps. They were an amazing deal, $15 each. And it's a little ghetto, but I tied a white pillowcase around each one. These use LED lights, so they don't get hot at all. So this is not a fire hazard, but I do feel like it diffuses the light a little bit. I do have little tricks to try to make the lighting a bit better in my room, just because, as you can see, even with the window open, my room is really dark. Even on a sunny day, it's quite dark in here. The sun usually sets on this side here and it rises back that way. So I really don't get a lot of light. That's why I have to have this whole setup here. Though I want to try filming more videos at my desk, because even though the lighting isn't amazing, I think, you know, in the middle of the day, it's good enough. And I do like that it's real wood here rather than, you know, my fake wood placemat. And this is also plywood, but I painted it black, and as you can see, it's really reflective, so that's why I don't film directly on this. If it was matte, then I would actually film on it, but because it's so reflective, it just doesn't look good. This is where I keep all of my art stuff. And I used to just have my art stuff on this, but I bought this from IKEA. I think it's really cool. It's like this nice muted green color. It's so nice to be able to just pull this out. Like if I'm seated here, I just pull it out and I have access to all my art things. Whereas when it was over there, I would actually have to go to it and pull. I had a few baskets. I had to pull the basket out and dig for all of my items. So it's nice that I have all of my art supplies here. And this top basket is of course my most used items. So I have my favorite Mei Liang watercolors along with my two go-to sketchbooks, the Strathmore Vision sketchbook and the Canson Mixed Media sketchbook, along with my 100% cotton Wanderings journal. And I have a few palettes here as well. Oh, and here's my spray bottle to spray my palettes just to activate the watercolors. So those are the top used items, and then as we get lower, we get to items that are less and less used. But for the most part, my art supplies are concentrated in this area. I want to say 80% of my art supplies are in that area, and then, you know, the others are spread out. I have a couple canvases there. I have some pencils and pens and things like that in those little mugs. And then again, that top drawer there has a few art things, but this is where most of it is concentrated. And right next to it, I have, I don't know what to call this shelf. I think I mentioned in my moleskin painting video that I ordered a crap ton of moleskin journals so that I could paint on and sell them on Etsy. As you can see, a lot of them are still in their packages. So I haven't touched them because I keep getting distracted. So I guess this is sort of like my, I don't know what to call it. This is also where I keep all of my supplies to make handmade watercolors. And I tuck this in here. You can see this is all my handmade inks are in here. I have my handmade paints in here. So I made a few batches, so these are the ones that didn't make it into my palette. This is what I use as a muller. And I have some of my half pans here and things like that. And I also have a few more canvases tucked under there. So random things tucked in random places. So that's essentially it. This is my space and I'm quite happy with it. The reason I decided to film today is because I cleaned, and normally this is what it looks like, but it's just a little bit neater than it usually is. So I figured it'd be a good time to film it. I was gonna wait until I had my room 100% the way I wanted it. So with my travel art up there and with all of these frames up on my wall and like actually filled with art instead of just whatever that is, I changed my mind so much. And I feel like my room will never be 100% the way I want it to be, because I'm always changing my mind and because I'm always getting tired of the art on my wall. So I like to change things up a lot, and I figured, you know what, I'll just film it now. And if I ever get my room to be 100% perfect, which I highly doubt, but if I ever get to that point, then I'll be sure to share with you guys. But this is what it looks like for now, and I'm happy with it. I really enjoy spending a lot of my time here, and I made it so it's really easy to. Like, I want to spend time in my room because it's nice and cozy, and it has all of my favorite things, and it has a lot of art that inspires me, and it really fuels my creativity, which at the end of the day, I think that's what a room should be. But of course, everyone's different. Some people really don't care. but I do. So yeah, this is it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to add them down below. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Stay creative. Peace.